Hello everyone. Today's story is called The Bicycle Mechanic, and it's a memory by Anthony Rooney from Kimmage in Dublin 12. Like many of my generation, I left school at 14. Indeed, I left 3 or 4 months earlier. In the Ireland of the 1940s, times were hard and jobs of any description were difficult to come by. Fortunately, through the good offices of a family friend, I was recommended to the owner of a bicycle shop in Capel Street. After a brief interview, I was accepted as a messenger boy and ordered to report for work the following Monday morning. On the appointed day and hour, nervous and excited, I presented myself at the shop, duly provided with a bicycle and told to deliver a letter to a customer in Clontarf. The bike was a 26-inch model and the saddle required adjustment by my employer to accommodate my lack of inches. I set off gingerly, but by the time I'd reached Clontarf, my confidence had grown. It was a beautiful warm day, and for the first time I savoured the sheer bliss of cycling. The sun was shining, a soft breeze blew in my face, and to my right, Dublin Bay reflected the deep blue of a summer sky. Over the next few weeks, I was taught to do minor repairs, and to add to my bliss, my employer offered to provide me with a second-hand bicycle for a modest price, paid for at 2 shillings a week. Most of my friends had bikes at this stage, and we revelled in our newfound freedom as we explored places like Howth, Portmarnock, Skerries, Bray, or wherever our fancy took us. When my friends asked me about my job, I could truthfully have answered that I was a messenger boy, but sadly, the sin of pride is in us all, and I told them grandly that I was an apprentice bicycle mechanic. This gave me considerable status among my friends, which I enjoyed, but it had its downside. Whenever a problem arose with their bicycles, I was called in to repair them. Usually I could bluff my way and carry out some sort of repairs, but there was one occasion when things went badly wrong. On a Sunday afternoon, a crowd of us cycled out to the Hellfire Club. I say cycled out, but in truth, the ascent was so steep we walked half the distance. When we reached the Hellfire Club, we sat and had our sandwiches, enjoyed the scenery and basked in our newfound freedom. Satisfied with our outing, we prepared for our return journey. It was then that one of the group, Malachy Foran, informed us that his brakes weren't working. As technical advisor, I was called upon to carry out the necessary repairs. Full of my own importance, I turned the machine wheels up and examined the brakes. His brake blocks were worn away to almost nothing. The front brake was useless, but using a spanner, I tightened the rear one to its limits and handed the machine back to a grateful Malachy. We began our descent and had barely travelled 100 yards when there was a shout of alarm from Malachy. Acting on the principle that self-preservation is the first law of nature, we parted ranks and watched in awe as the hapless Malachy shot past us and descended the hill with the velocity of a ballistic missile. Controlling our descent by the judicious use of our brakes, we followed as fast as we could, turning each bend in terror of finding our friend embedded in a ditch or wrapped around a tree. We were almost in Tala village before we came upon Malachy, standing, ashen-faced and trembling by the side of the road. Somewhat tactlessly, I asked if he'd like me to take another look at his brakes. Delicacy prevents me from repeating his answer. In the Liberties, Malachy's descent from the Hellfire Club became the stuff of legend. Some attributed to him the distinction of being the first Irishman to break the sound barrier. My own part in the incident did not go unnoticed, and I had to endure many disparaging comments on my expertise as a bicycle mechanic. In fact, 2 days later, I was accosted by Malachy's older brother Tomo. Placing a shovel-like hand on my shoulder, he assured me that had his little brother suffered fatal injuries, my own demise would have followed soon after. I'm not sure if Tomo would have carried out this threat, but from then on, anyone seeking my professional advice was met with an emphatic refusal. Good night, everybody, and stay safe.